Shalom, saints of the Most High Yah. Hallelujah. 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 I pray all is well with the righteous. Hallelujah. Though we be few in number, that means a lot. The Most High Yah. Hallelujah. Everybody enjoying the war? Yeah, I can see it's been something else lately. Hallelujah. But praise Yah for that. As we look at it as something that is there to strengthen us. Not there to bring us down, not there to tear us up or to throw us aside. But it's there to strengthen us, and that's a good thing. Praise Yah. Well, bless you all, saints. Bless your family on the other side of the camera. Shalom, shalom. Our blessed Heavenly Father, in the wonderful name Yeshua, humbly ask, Most High, your blessings upon this Bible study, Most High, this Scripture study, Most High. May your words resonate, Most High, and may your Spirit speak at this time what He needs to speak, what He needs to convey, what He needs to communicate. We do bless you and thank you in the wonderful name Yeshua. Hallelujah. Amen. Y'all may be seated. Yeah, I guess we got to have that understanding in our hearts as the days get on down to the end of the testimony here, that this Hasatan is going to step up his attack. But even that is ordained, and we can be thankful in that. Being thankful today that we're able to perform a day's labor by His strength, by His mercy, by His protection, to be here on another Scripture study. Hopefully to be here another Shabbat, to enter into another rest. Hallelujah. There's a lot of things to be thankful for, saints. As you know, I myself encounter a lot of people that have nothing to be thankful for. And you see it in their walk, in their talk, and their just the way they just emanate themselves. But we, the saints of the Most High Yah, let us stay in the land of the living. Let us stay in the land of the living, please. You know, the messages, my mind's still been on last Scripture study. Pastor brought forth a message on slander. Very, very, very good, something to consider, something that we should not take lightly. Because, the world, they drink this iniquity like water. And we with, the Holy One on the inside, this shouldn't even be named among us. This should not be a quality of our being. This should not be expressing out of us. But we see there are some within the body that are still being affected by this. And tonight, hopefully, I'm going to go a little further, go along again with Pastor brought forth Scripture study. Going to get into later on, but at first I'm going to build a little foundation here, but we're going to get into understanding about familiar spirits. Try to bring it up in today's layman terms. And I pray by the power of the Holy Spirit, pray by everyone that is actually in hearing distance of this voice as you hear my words. It's amazing, this thing called words, this realm of communication. How many worlds it transcends that we're not aware of. Well, we've got to come aware of it. We really do. This thing is it can be, it could uplift you or it could be devastational. It could drag you down. It could be something that will tie you in chains and fetters to the pit of hell. With just a small member. With just a small member. Again, we're going to talk about the tongue a little bit. About how we, the saints of the Most High Yah, how we, through understanding of the Word, it's one member we've really got to govern. Because this thing is really more a master in our life than it is a servant. If we're going to be stewards over these bodies, and we, in that day when it comes to giving account, we might give a good account and a clear account for all the other members, but all of a sudden there comes up a red mark because of one little member called the tongue. Something we thought, that was just so minute. Such a little member. But amongst all the other members, it's chief. It's chief. Because we read words from this book here, but what are they communicating to us? What are they really communicating to us? But the tongue we really need to get in touch with is not the one that's actually this temporal tongue, but the one we really need to come into association with, understanding of, consciousness of, is this inner tongue. And every one of us knows what I'm talking about. The thing that is talking before this talks. As Pastor said, last study, it takes a diligent person with the instruction of this word to get dominion, or just to start to get dominion over this tongue. I'm pointing to this tongue, but I'm really talking about the inner tongue. For him to start getting control. And I pondered and I meditated on that and said, yes, it does. It takes a while. It takes a labor. It takes an effort. If one is really desiring, to become a good steward over this, this temporary tabernacle that he is living in for the short time the Most High has allotted him on this ball of dirt. And it's a powerful thing that the Holy Spirit is really wanting us to, to get a hold of. Because our words, they're more than just passing by things. A lot of words are spoken out of passivity. A lot of words are spoken without going through a filter. A lot of words are just spoken, just carelessly, without force of breath. Then a lot of words, are propelled by emotions, by traumas. I mean, whatever it may be, there's things that are expressing these words. Even as I speak here, I might get into a preaching mode, but even the word is still being broadcasted in that manner, and hopefully as the demeanor of it heightens, the hearer should be able to discern what is being really said. We hear words, in English, but our spirit is hearing something totally different than English. And that's what we need to come aware of. James 3:5 says, even so the tongue is what? A little member. And even though it's a little member, and it says it boasts great things. What does? Tongue. Not only this one, but the one on the inside. The one that's in the seat of understanding. The one that is in the seat of knowledge. The one that, that as this is, quieted down, the one that's still going on. As we hear ourselves minister to ourselves. Or something minister to ourselves. But it says, this tongue is a little member and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter. It says, how great. That's a word there, but it is giving us an emphasis. Little member, but even though it's a little member, it has great power. It boasteth great things, and behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And it's amazing, it only takes a little fire to make a big fire, huh? And as the old adage says, if there is no wood there, then what is there to burn sometimes? But behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. But it's amazing in the spirit of our mind, there's certain things that happen, through our emotions, through, attacks of self, attacks of whatever it may be. How, your that inner tongue, through emotion, through its hurt, through its pain, will start, even though there's a little fire there, it will start adding wood and kindling to that fire. And next thing you know, within a person's being, within a person's soul, within a person's spirit, there's a raging fire. And how is he going to put it out? James 3:6, and the tongue is a fire. And we have to look at Hebrews. Okay, stop a minute. Fire. Now, I've seen physical fire. I've seen it consumes. I see it's hot, and it consumes whatever, is able for it to, to lap up. And it says this tongue is a fire. A world of iniquity. That kind of fire. Iniquitous fire. Lawless fire. This tongue. Not this one, but which one? The inner one. The one that is speaking. Especially when we're sleeping. There is a tongue still sleeping. Don't we hear in a lot of our dreams words going on? If we're really conscious of what's going on in dreams, there's words structured that is prevailing this dream. There's something going on to bring these imagery in our mind while we're, in a subconscious state, if I can say. The body is in a restful mode, but the mind is still active. And in according to, I guess, the business of the day, whatever went on during the day, if a person has not, kindled whatever fire that may have happened during the day, how he takes it into his bed. And then he deals with nightmares, and bad dreams, and this and that. It's just scary, weird, just off the wall dreams. Because the entrance of certain words. Even before we get an image in the theater of our mind, there's always a construct of words. The enemy comes forth and tells you a little phrase. And then we hear it. Whether good or bad. But are we at the time as we hear it, are we discerning it? Are we taking it? Are we checking it out? Are we looking, okay, what is your motive? What is the reason why you're being spoken? Am I speaking this? Or is something else speaking this? And if something else is speaking this, why do I hear my own voice speaking something that I wouldn't say? See, this is going on in that inner tongue, that inner being that we've really got to get in touch with. Because this thing that you see, me walking around, it's temporary. But even as I speak here and I speak from the Lord, I've got to communicate something from that with words. And it's according to how you're hearing and according to what vocabulary of words that you have received in yourself, it'll be according to what's going to be constructed in your mind. That's why belief. Construct of words. Construct of words. Go back. I didn't finish that. The tongue is a fire, a world, a what? Notice this. Take note of that. We the saints of the Most High, we know that we're living in this world. But are we conscious that there are more worlds going on at the same time? As, the heathen would call dimensions. Tongue is a fire, a world. It's a place. We're in this world. We're living in this physical, temporal world. And we can look at it and say, okay, this is talking about a world of iniquity. I mean, you're looking at that it's dwelling in a place that's lawless, that it has an abode in lawless. A world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our. That's definite, huh? Talking to the people of Yah. So is the tongue among our members. I thought when I was, received Jesus and was born again, all this was taken care of. I'm still, this far in my walk, still dealing with a tongue in my mind. Trying to get a hold of that tongue with this tongue. And I thank the Most High Yah that, by imparting His Holy Spirit in me, He gave me another tongue. I said, I don't want that tongue, that seems to be, sometimes, some ways, brought over prior to conversion. Some superfluity, naughtiness of it is, I'm continually battling with. You know how the old man wants to, sometimes to just peek up a little once in a while. But this tongue is a world of iniquity, is a tongue among our members, among our hands, among our feet, among our ears, among our eyes. A world of iniquity among our members. What? That it defileth the how much? The little member will defile the whole body. And we see, it takes one person, like slander. You get one slanderous accusation spread amongst, it's within the camp, and get enough people within, to bring the insurrection, how it would defile the whole body. How it would defile your body first and then have to defile the whole body. And it says, and it setteth on fire. Notice that word, fire, 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 fire. This certain type of fire, that once something is burned, its present state is no longer the way it was before. So this tongue that's set on a world of iniquity, it's out to burn down, to take something from one state to another. It's in a realm of defiling, as we learn just, the vehicle of slander, just the action of slander. I would defile that person first, to just eat up with it, the cancerous, murmuring and talking, that goes on without them saying something. Comes to a point where that it's built up so much. This tongue's all of a sudden got to release. This tongue is got to be the fountain. And it set on fire the course set on fire. I mean, you see fire consume woods. I mean, it is destruction, burnt. I mean, just devastation, vain. Setteth on fire the course of nature. And it is set on fire of hell. I'm like, man, all this fire from a little member. But this word here caught my attention. Nature. Nature, we have a nature within us. We have a way that we perceive. We have a way that we walk, we talk, we taste, we touch, we smell. We're individuals, and when we have, certain pet peeves or whatever you may call. Whatever it may be, we have each and every one of us has their own nature. And as a body, we have a nature, which is the Most High is trying to get us into a body nature of Hebrews. It's amazing how these words, the Most High wants these words to supersede the words which we came into this world with. Born in sin, shapen in iniquity. Set on fire of hell. But this nature, unique word here. It's the word Genesis in the Greek. Means source, origin. All right, book of one's lineage in which his ancestor or progeny are enumerated, used of birth, nativity, of that which follows origin, existence, life, the will of life. Other explain it, the will of human origin, which as soon as men are born begins to run its course of life. Sets on fire the course of nature. So once this tongue goes out in its iniquitous way and starts burning down, it's the beginning to destruction. It's the beginning, to turning your nature. And we're going to learn about turning the nature. Hebrews 11:3 says, through faith we understand. There's that word, we. We've got to understand. And the vehicle is through faith. His faith. Words telling us about His faith. We understand that the world's, what was the tongue? A world of iniquity. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by how? So every world that is in existence is framed by what? Words. 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 So how important is His words? You know, we read words on a pieces of paper in this book, and we proclaim it the Word of Yah. But are we actually exacting from this very book, you know, the things we need to understand about the framework of this world? Because, you know, it gives a record, an account that the Most High Yah said, He spoke. Let there be light, and what happened? It's amazing. In deliverance, when we're, you know, praying for someone, helping someone through deliverance, we're speaking what? And it is according to what spirit or what entity we're dealing with, our words are structured. And understanding the structure of that spirit. And we understand the structure of that spirit by words, don't we? And if we have that knowledge in our construct, if we have that knowledge within our being, then we have an understanding of how things were framed. This has a great explanatory, letting us know how things are framed, and we turn so much away from it. Just said, you know, the servant that had great faith, the centurion. He says, I know you're a man of authority, but at thy word my servant shall be healed. He believed that much, that the Most High Yah would send His word. And because, you know, he knew that the word of the Most High, the Yeshua, was an authoritative thing, just as he had experience of His words when He commanded over his quaternion or whatever he had command over. He had command through, you know, marches or whatever it may be, you know, his speech or whatever he told his troops to do, that he knew the same one that he was talking to knew the construct of all that was being, and even the spiritual realm. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the Word of Yah. Framed. Look at that word frame. When we look at the frame of a house, that's the main structure, isn't it? You know, this body didn't have a frame of a skeleton. You think it could stand? Think it could have strength? So the world that we live in, this laptop, this and this, I mean, just everything in the physical existence, it's here because of a framework of words, huh? Through faith we understand this, huh? Those, you know, who are looking at this through faith, not leaning to your own understanding. Now, this is the understanding of words that we've got to get into, the consciousness of words the Most High Yah is wanting to get into us to get into. Because this is indicative to healing. We got to speak certain words for healing, don't we? I mean, anytime we proclaim authority, we got to speak it. It don't come from here. Because them not true words. But if it comes from here, if we have the word mixed with faith, then it produces something. It will produce something. And that's why we got to get this into here and not up into here. So many people, brothers and sisters, are trying to cram all this knowledge up here. And that knowledge that they're putting up here, it has no place in their heart. As I said before, you know, you get all this stuff in your head, but got nothing in your bag. And then when it comes to a time of tribulation, time of anguish or nothing, what words have you got? What words can you express to bring a broken frame back into completion? And it's amazing. The worlds were framed by the Word of Yah so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. And it's amazing. We all, saints of the Most High Yah, know that in our times of anger, or times of shame, when this comes about, the way we feel, the thing that overshadows our body, and then all of a sudden something starts speaking within our being. And is it there tearing us down? Are we there letting it bring us into slavery? Like so many times it wants to. Shame, guilt, and condemnation. These words come in, they speak, they speak, they speak. They speak, and you're sitting there going, I know. And I know you're agreeing with these words. And because you're agreeing with His words, there's something being constructed. There's a world being constructed within you because of these words which are being said. And that's why we got to be careful of how we hear and how we see. Because we are beings created by the Word. We're beings called out of the world by the Word. We heard His voice. His voice came in words. But it spoke something not to our outward man, but it spoke something deep down in us. Because I remember way deep down in my days of being a heavy metal musician and banging my head and getting drunk and everything, there were still words in the back of my being telling me, you do not fit here. Why are you trying to fit in? These are not your people. And I would clamor and I would grope just to be like them. And then I might find myself still out of socket, still out of joint. And I'm like, what? What? I was trying to live in a world that wasn't mine, that world that I was not ordained for. But now here we are in a world that we are ordained for. Because we heard His voice. We heard His call. And at the same time, we've got an accuser of the brethren going before the throne, speaking His words. It's an amazing thing, even the angels, which are greater in might and power. When there was a time when the Hasatan was disputing over the body of Moses, there was a war of words going on. Trying to get Michael the archangel, hey, come on, join in me. Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, we know this is a law. Let every word be established. So, Michael, come on, bring this railing accusation against Moses so we can condemn this man. Come and lead Satan saying to this archangel, come join my railing accusation so this thing can be solidified. Well, you know what Michael said? The Most High rebuked thee. You know what words he used? There was something there that could have brought forth a railing accusation. You can hear the Hasatan speaking with his mouth. You know that he smote that rock twice. When he was commanded to speak to it. Oh, look, he's seeing, he's mine. And Michael probably witnessed the same thing, but he didn't join in communion with this railing accusation. But we see the saints of the Most High God. We're not as mighty as angels and in power. Well, we'll join ourselves in railing accusations. Because we get torn out of the world we need to be in. We start seeing the world from somebody else's perspective, from an evil man's perspective. The only way that this world can be rehearsed to us if we just give ear to it. The next thing you know, if we got any distrust or any unlikes or any hatreds or anything, it'll attach itself to that and bring that up. Next thing you know, you got this world to contend with. Because everything that slanderer says, all of a sudden you're in accordance and you're agreeing with it now. Now you bring it more strength and more power. And then its duty is to go out and set on fire the course of nature to defile the whole body. So it goes out trying to find whatever it is. It looks. The Spirit will look at it, take your body and use it as a host to look and see, which one is weak among them that I'm familiar with. So we got to watch entrance of a lot of things. I really had to today. I was at the boiling point of anger today, and a lot of things were speaking to me. But I had to keep myself in check. I had to, greater is He that is in me than he that is in this world. I know Hasatan, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I got to speak other framework of words to battle these words which are, trying to drag me down, trying to kill me, trying to slaughter me. I got to speak words that are not my own, words that are not from my own understanding. And in that, I just can't take it from here. I've got to take it from here and really believe it. Submit myself unto Yah, resist the devil, and then he will flee. And because I did this, I got victory over the tongue again. So these worlds that we create in our mind, worlds of jealousy, worlds of envy, and we let them create because we listen to these words, construct these things in our mind first and foremost. And these words is an amazing thing within our being. They start bringing these images. And these words will start, pulling things from the past, pains and hurts and distrust. If you allow them, and next thing you know, we're in a world, we're taken away from the world where we was free, and and the whole land was open, and now we find ourselves in chains and fetters and shackles and strings. So we got to understand words. 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 Worlds frame. I still, to this day, meditate on that, and I'm like, whoa. To me, that's deep. Then I have to really get sober and just step back and really see if I'm in the faith. When it comes, these framing of worlds by my words, how I let words just steer. This tongue that was in me steer my course. It's like James says, even though it's a little rudder on a boat, it steers the whole ship. And here we are on a journey trying to get home, and this thing is tracking our path. I thought I was walking with my feet. We need to see. Need to see. Proverbs 18:8, it says, the words of a talebearer are as... What? Spoken words? They can be as wounds. They can be inflicting. They can be painful. Well, I wonder why these words can be so inflicting. Well, who's the one hosting them? How is he delivering them? I can say a little word, damn. Don't have no much impact. But I go, damn! Makes a little bit more impact, huh? Same word, though. But how was it delivered? But some people hear, he's cussing. See? How you receive the interest. Take heed what the word tells us. Take heed how we hear. And even this, we got to take heed of the words of a talebearer, the words of a slanderer are as wounds. And I'm looking, oh yeah, I've had wounds. I've had some pretty ugly wounds in my life. And I look at them, and there might be pus coming out. It might take a month or two to heal sometimes, but them things hurt. And if they're in a joint or something, I can hardly move that part of my body. But words are able to inflict this. A tale bearer. I mean, he's bearing a tale, and then he's going to tell you. He's going to bear this tale with his words. But the purpose of telling the tale is to inflict wounds. And it says in these wounds, and they go down. Where do they go down? Into the innermost. I'm like, parts of the belly? Oh, they go down in my stomach and they get digested and I poop them out? No. It goes down into the innermost seat of the man. These what? Impactful, huh? Proverbs 23:6 says, eat thou not the bread of him that hath an what? And that literally speaks, you sit down and you take a loaf of some bean bread and y'all part it with one another, huh? No. Because the talebearer, he's got bread to serve, don't he? He's got bread to broadcast, huh? Why? What's his word? What's his bread? His words. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath what kind of nigh? Neither desire thou his what? So he's got bread and he's got dainty meats. I wonder how he's going to deliver thee. How is he going to administer? For as he what? Thinketh in what? His heart. Ah, so that is how the meat and the bread's being delivered, huh? That's the oven, huh? That's the place of Genesis. That is the start of the nature, huh? For as he what? What's he doing? Well, when you think, do you think and there's nothing but like a sea breeze going? Or when you're thinking, is there kind of a certain type of words going across the screen? Words going on in the hearing, the inner hearing. When we think, that's what's going on, right? There's words being manifested, isn't it? And it is amazing through these words, as you know, that's how we really start seeing. Even though we got natural seeing, but we're really seeing with. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee. But what? His heart is not with thee. The familiar spirit. Let us look at one person. 1 Samuel 13. Remember Saul? Gilgal? Saul disobeys first Samuel's appointed time. These boogers were fighting the Philistines at that time. And at certain incursions, they were not having a good time with the Philistines. But, Samuel had told Saul, hey, I'm coming. 7 days I'm coming. And, when I come, I myself, Samuel, is going to do a sacrifice. But go Saul, what he couldn't do, he was impatient in his heart, in his spirit. He went and did it himself. So he went and offered a peace offering and a burnt offering himself. This sin, first sin of Saul, the kingdom was taken away. Well, we're going to look at a progression here. We see disobedience taking place, huh? Something setting up within a man. Because he did this first thing, he disobeyed the word of Yah through, Yah's mouthpiece, Samuel. Again, as the story progresses in 1 Samuel 15, Saul again disobeys the commandment of Yah. And the command was utterly destroy the Amalekites. But it come to pass that Saul, instead of fearing the Most High Yah, he feared the voice of the people. And the same thing as, was from the beginning, The words of a serpent set on fire the course of nature for Saul. When he spoke to Eve, Yah said, he spoke words. And just these very construct of words, all of a sudden when she received it, all of a sudden she's constructing something different within her mind. She's going against the commandment of her husband, which was, got the commandment from the Most High Yah. And then she takes the fruit and did eat and gave to her husband and he did eat. Instead of fearing the commandment of Yah, he fearing the woman. And here we are. Set on fire that course of nature, didn't it? So Saul was told to utterly destroy the Amalekites. But now, The people persuade him, just save the best. Save the best so, we can give a very excellent sacrifice to the Most High Yah. Samuel come back and said, behold, to obey is better than what? Because that's what they want to do. First one was a sacrifice. Second one was a sacrifice. Supposedly it's supposed to have been, for the Most High Yah, but it wasn't. Man followed his own understanding, thinking himself to be something. I'm king over Israel. The construct that was in his mind. The construct that gets in our mind sometimes to supersede the word of Yah and the commandment of Yah. And it sets on course. Because we go from one construct of words into another construct of words. Either we're going to obey the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus, or we're going to serve the other law, the law of sin and death. Two laws in this world. And we see Saul here on a path to being obedient to the law of sin and death. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. Because he's told for rebellion. Saul, your rebellion. He was rebelling. By not what? Obeying the commandment of God twice. What was going on in this man? What was going on in the construct of his mind? That's where when we look at it, we don't read the story. Do we sit back and meditate? Okay, why did Saul do this? And what was perpetrating Saul to do that? What was going on in his mind? What was his thought patterns? Why would he being the first king of Israel, do what he did? What was going on? What was his thought patterns? What was being spoken to him? But he says, your rebellion, Saul, is as the sin of what? Whoa. And it says, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Witchcraft, huh? We don't think, none of us think in here that we are witches, do we? But there is a certain vehicle, there is a certain construct that we can work witchcraft, which is what? You see this progression in Saul. First sin, not too bad. Second sin, things are getting rocky with Saul. Stubbornness. He had rebellion and stubbornness. This is already set in from the first sin. You see the progression here? How this could happen in each one of us just by, I disobey the commandment of Yah here. And then later on, I disobey again. And I disobey again. And every time, Saul would pretty much say, I have sinned, I repent, Because if he had repented, rebellion and stubbornness would not be a construct in his being. What is being told him to be rebellious and stubborn? What was the voice of the people as he listened to the people and he feared the people, and all of a sudden the commandment of Yah became so little and the voice of the people became so great to supersede their words were a better construct than the Most High Yah's. Again, as the story progresses, I don't want to say story. As the testimony progresses, better word. 1 Samuel 6:14, and we'll go there. 1 Samuel 6:14, or 16:14. Because this is right after, the Most High Yah had rejected him from being king, and he told Samuel to go search for another who has my heart. So as you know, the story progresses. He found David, son of a Bethlehemite, Jesse, and anointed him to be king over Israel. And immediately after that, in 16:14, it says, but the Spirit of Yah departed from Saul. Because now the Spirit of Yah is with David. and it has departed from Saul. And it says, and now since this spirit, like David said, he had an understanding. Oh, take not thy Holy Spirit from me. You think he had remembrance what happened to Saul? Why he would write that psalm in that manner with them words to paint a picture in our mind, to paint a world in our mind to look at, to see that construct that he was in, to see, the world which he was thinking from. And an evil spirit from Yahweh sent, Yahweh permitted an evil spirit to trouble Saul. Because of what? Stubbornness, rebellion. Being a leader over his people was a high thing with the Most High Yah. Well, we can see these actions taking place, huh? We can see the course of Saul's nature, how it's being set on fire. Spirit of Yah departs from Saul, and the evil spirit troubles him. 1 Samuel 18, 6 through 9. As the testimony progresses. It says, and as it came to pass, as they came when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, that the women came out of all cities of Israel singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tabrets and with joy and with instruments of music. And it says in the end, and the women answered one another as they played and said, Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000s. This is going on, music being played. Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000, on and on and on. Great procession, everybody's rejoicing. There's a great scene going on. And it says in the very next, and Saul was very wroth. Notice how his condition is worsening now. This man must have thought himself to be something. He hears, the people chanting, oh, they ascribed me to slaying thousands, but here they got David slaying 10,000. Now they've been putting him up higher than I. See what's going on? The progression? The words that are not being spoken in the testimony, but they are there. Because we've all been in these states. Seeing a brother and sister being blessed. It's an amazing thing, within the human spirit, within our own, unconverted states that we may be in, that sometimes, the thing we detest in ourselves. You hear Pastor said this a lot. The thing we detest in ourselves and we want to deal with it personally ourselves, we will go out and try to deal with the same thing in others. Thinking we get some kind of vindication. Getting some kind of answer. Look at the Hatzatan. Look at what he's doing to all mankind. He think he was right. So he's going out and spreading his poison, spreading his word throughout all this mankind. Because he won't accept his judgment. And many times we don't want to accept our judgment. And we detest the sin and we detest the iniquity in us. We won't do nothing with it, but we see a brother and sister in the same way. Oh, now comes the fire and comes the hell on them. Same thing with Saul here. David, a beautiful young man. Very honorable for the Most High Yah. Honoring Saul through every instance. And it says, and Saul was very wroth. You can understand what was being spoken. You can hear him murmuring. Thousand, he ain't got 10,000, but he's bearing me. He's just young. Look at me, I'm king of me. Same thing with ourselves, huh? And all this being constructed with what? Words. And we're adding our emotions, and then our members are put into play, and then the whole body is being animated. Because of words. The words we are attaining to. Saul was very raw, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s. And to me, they have ascribed but thousands. And what can be have more but his kingdom? So we see also now fear entering in. In verse 9 it says, and Saul eyed David from that day forward. You know, it talked about what? An evil eye. You know, the things we detest in ourselves, we're trying to look for it in another brother. And we might get some kind of solace, some recompense, by badgering them and bringing them down and slandering and so what is the vehicle of slander? What is the construct of somebody to be propelled to slander? To bring another person into his world of pain and misery. Just like the Hasatan, huh? He knows he has a short time. This war of words. Again, 1 Samuel 18, 27 through 29. And I ask how we all, between all these, read again the whole account. Just using this as a background to really get more understanding. Wherefore David arose and went, he and his men, and slew of the Philistines 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and they gave them in full to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal, his daughter, to wife. And it says, and Saul, and knew that Yahweh was with David. And Saul became David's enemy continually. Look at this progression. Look at this progression. Saul sees and knows now that Yah is no longer with him, but now with David. And Saul becomes more fearful of David at the same time. Wow. And Saul saw and knew that Yahweh was with David and that Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him. And Saul was yet the more afraid of David, and Saul became David's enemy continually. You see this progression going on within the man that was a chosen vessel? Do you see the progression of decline of Saul's being? Then just this little bit. When we read that account, read that testimony, we get that from the Word. Because, there is a understanding, wisdom in there that if we're going to understand anything from that Word, that we got to spiritually discern it. So that's what, I'm giving you a little piece of, hopefully help your mind to, instead of reading these things like a novel, just going through them like, turbo and say, I've read the whole book of Kings. What have you put in your bag? What have you learned from, this very little account, and there's so much going on in a little account. Seeing Saul being a righteous man and all of a sudden his decline and another man being brung up in his stead. And this young man David holding, his premise and his righteousness to the very core. Because he had a different construct in his mind. Many times he had the chance to slay, to kill Saul. But he in the construct of his mind that this is Yah's anointed. But if he obeyed his heart, if he obeyed hatred, if he obeyed, the construct of bitterness. Because, here you got Saul now, listening to the words of jealousy and envy. To so much that now that his eye has become so evil that that's all he sees David as, what's going on in his mind. By the words that is rolling over and relishing in his mind, that's how he peers at David. Even so much to try to throw a javelin at him, to kill him. Murder. 1 Samuel 19, Saul tries to kill David. Murder's entering in now. Progression, Progression. Can you see how, this thing started as a little fire? Now this thing is destroying a forest, isn't it? First Samuel 22, Saul kills the priest who helped David. I mean, he's really getting bloodthirsty and bloodletting now, 1 Samuel 28, Saul seeks one now because all this going on, the Spirit of Yah is no longer with him. Now, 1 Samuel 28, that Saul goes to, to inquire of the Most High Yah through Urim and Thummim, and he gets no answer. So he's got to go to familiar. We see all the spirits working in him now. Now he's got to go and communicate and convey with someone who has the same spirits within them. Just to hear something divine. Because Saul seeks one who has a what? Look at that word familiar. When we look at this speaker, we look over here, that speaker is familiar with that speaker, So they can be, this speaker and this speaker can be carried together, And we see that speaker and that speaker, they look alike, don't they? They're similar. They're familiar with one another. Similar in construct, so they can be compared to one another, They can work in unison with one another, So one who's a slanderer, once he has this evil eye, what do you think he's looking for? Another spirit like unto itself. So that it can be strengthened in its hatred, in its demise, in its murder. A medium, talking about this one that Saul went to seek. We're going to bring it down to today's terms. A medium is a person who acts as a pathway or go-between to supposedly contact and communicate with the dead. So you see, Saul was pretty much no longer in a living state, was he? He was dying on the inside, wasn't he? So the dying thing within him's got to go seek the dead to communicate with the dead. Because the living no more is communicating with him no more. And any person that is slanderous, backbiting, talebearing, they ain't going to hear nothing from the Most High Yah. They go to communicate with what? Anyone who becomes a channel of communication for an evil spirit is a medium. I want some slander, some backbiting, some talebearing. You have put yourself in a place of a medium. That's one of the familiar spirits that I'm talking about in this time and this hour. It's trying to infiltrate the body. And that's why, the warning has been coming out. Don't you be familiar with none of this crap. Because if there's anything that is in us be of the contrary, these spirits, something going on in the spiritual realm, will find you out. And it will say the words to ignite whatever that is in you. If you got any form of bitterness, any form of distrust, doubt, hatred, in anything. So the Most High Yah, He knows what words to speak to ignite that world in you. Why? Because it is a go-between. Because what is in that person? An evil spirit. Because we're looking at ourselves, we're nothing but houses. And any time it could be used by a righteous spirit, the Holy Spirit of Yah. Same time, at the next moment, it can be housed with a demon. And if we're hearing the Spirit of Yah, then there's a certain construct of words that's going on in our minds, going on in our thoughts, going on in our imagination continually. Because if our mind is the Most High Yah, we'll hear Him speak of Yeshua continually. He'll bring us into all things. He'll bring all things into remembrance with words. And then we find ourselves in safety. We find ourselves in a pavilion. We find ourselves in peace and joy and love. Because, our mind, our world is with Him. And our world's got to become Him no matter what. And the only way our world has got to become Him, we've got to receive the words that are telling us the world to come. The word familiar is from the Latin familiaris, meaning a household servant. As the word says, at whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, them servant you are. Great parallel going on here between David and Saul, huh? Whew. A lot to consider there. We just barely scratched the surface on that. Matthew 7. Yeah, verses 20 through 23. Wherefore by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone that saith unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom, and not everyone that saith unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. I guess, saints, Most High Yah, it's just another admonition, another warning, another, extension of the love of Yah, reaching His hand out. As it seems this time and this hour, this dealing with, the worlds that we deal with our tongue is in play now. And we really got to get conscious what's being spoke within the inner man. As we see something about an evil eye, we see murders going on. I mean, this thing, it's always to steal, kill, and to destroy. The wages of sin is death. So, saints of the Most High Yah, I encourage you continually again, days ahead, watch your words. We don't know what time, what hour, what kind of words are going to be spoken to us. What situations we're going to be in when these words are spoken to us. And how we're going to react. Because it's an amazing thing, one phrase to one person, they can brush it off, but another phrase to another person can bring them down to their knees. I mean, it could be so devastational between each one of us. But these spirits know your weaknesses. These spirits know your infirmities. And they know which words to speak into your ear to capture your ear. Eve had her ear captured. Then she captured the ear of her husband. Here we are. Praise Yah, saints. Praise Yah. Blessed Heavenly Father, in wonderful name Yeshua, thank you again, Most High, for your love, for your care, for your words of wisdom. Thy word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. Let it get us home, Most High. Oh, hallelujah. But we do bless you and thank you for your word, Most High, because it's creating in us a clean heart. It's renewing in us a right spirit. It's bringing us to that body which you have formed for us, Most High, Yah, and we thank you for that. We just do give you honor and glory. Thank you, Most High, for the safe arrival of Pastor and Elias and all the work that's going on with our brothers and sisters there. Thank you for the fruit of that, Most High, as you increase your kingdom. Do glorify and praise you in the wonderful name of Yeshua. Hallelujah. Amen. Bless you all, saints.
Uh-oh, look at him looking.